Hey there, fans. I'm Dr. The Wife, and I'm here drinking at Moe's.
This is Drinkin at demos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Moe's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Moe's, that's where it's at. Like a power bomb, we hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkinatmos be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill about now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the I can't say the bad words yet, but audio platforms too. Leave a review there. Today, I'm excited to have with me Dr. The Wife. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. We talked a little bit about some stuff I got coming up. I actually just this morning bought my tickets to the last Iowa Revolver show of the year. So, and it's literally like 2 hours from me. So it's like, hey,
Oh,
I
that's
can
not
actually
bad.
make those ones.
Yeah.
And it's shaping up to be a good show. I mean, Revolver shows are always a blast, but I can't complain. And you know what? It's funny because before we get too deep into things with you here, that show in and of itself is literally the day after I air the 300th episode of the
Oh,
podcast.
well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. And as if, that and the show starting off the month on a good note, the news is already out there that, my wife and I are expecting,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
we're expecting a little boy. And, well, they're inducing her either right before or right after Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So starting off the month on a good note, ending it on an even better one.
Yes, definitely.
So pretty excited all the way around. So first thing I'd like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to jump into the business the way that you're in it? Because what a lot of people, they only, and I mean understandable, only think of the active in-ring wrestler part. They don't think the backstage interviews, the commentators, the ring announcers. There's like a whole bunch of stuff that goes into the shows.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And this is not just in front of the camera, it's behind the camera.
True.
Including the camera folks, guys doing the clips, the ladies and gals who are controlling the graphics. It's just a whole slew of things that go on
Mm-hmm.
for a wrestling show.
For sure.
Well,
But
my
yeah.
introduction was really when I was very young. I mean, I've been watching wrestling for a long time, back in the 80s and 90s. So this is not a new thing for me. It's just
Same.
as things go, when people start growing up, they fall in love, they fall out, they keep coming back for more.
Yeah.
My favorite era is the Attitude Era, is
Oh,
probably a lot of
totally.
people. Yeah.
Totally.
But I was big into Hulk Hogan's time when he was there with the Hulkamaniacs, and even Doink was entertaining to me.
I know. Even
You
when he
know?
was evil, it was like,
Yeah,
dude, he's one creep, but I don't like. There's something entertaining about that.
yeah. It was just you strangely were drawn to it. Uh, even Lex Luger, the
Mm,
Honky Tonk Man, the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, I was a big fan of all of those big, muscly guys with lots of character and personality. Just want to see. And then when
mm,
the Attitude Era came around, same thing. You like the charisma, the entertainment value, and then moving up into now, I started going into watching Stardom Wrestling over in
mm,
Japan, where um, we did reviews. Me and my colleagues over at Face Wrestling, we were doing a lot of reviews for those, and they were also adding people from the United States that were working over there. So I became fans of a lot of those ladies. And then moving into, getting close to right now, it was just a natural progression of watching it to talking about it to doing a bit of commentary and reviews and summaries about it to interviewing wrestlers. And from there, it became, well, if I can interview them and I'm pretty comfortable doing that, what else can I do? And
mm.
then jumping into a wrestling school and then going into the aspect of wrestling that doesn't involve being in the ring and doing a lot of the battles with the other opponents, but more along the lines of contributing more about yourself into making those wrestlers that are going to be in there or are in there, make them shine.
Mm.
Commentary, interviews, ring announcing, things like that. Even the production side.
Oh
I
yeah.
work on the organizational part. What can I learn from doing that? Working on the promos as well. What can I help with that?
Oh yeah. And myself got started along the same lines in the same era. And initially some of my favorites now, I'll admit, when I was younger, scared the living crap out of me.
Why?
I don't know. But like the one in particular that like right now, like, man, I wish he was still around.
Mhm.
Bruiser Brody.
Okay.
When I was younger, that guy scared the crap out of me.
Wow.
But now, that sort of intensity is like what I gravitate towards. So
Yeah.
when I'm seeing guys like that out there, I'm like, I know he's a bad guy, but
Yeah.
damn it, I love him.
I have the same feeling when I go to shows and I see wrestlers that have that intensity. Even interviewing them, I'm always like telling them, if you're gonna be intense, then go full blown intense. I don't mind interviewing folks like that.
Oh yeah.
It really is a great way to kind of light that fire in you to make
Oh,
sure that you give it your best, so that
oh yeah.
they're showing the fans their best as well.
Oh, most definitely. And I haven't got to talk to some people that like remind me of Brody, but I mean, I have met Lance Archer, and like his
Oh
his entrances in New Japan were very Bruiser Brody esque, if you ask me. But
yeah.
I did get to meet him. But I have, I've interviewed a bunch of people that do have in the ring those intense personas, and I always tell everybody, because I've been asked before, before interviews, do you want this in character or out? I'm like, as long as you let me know which one you're doing before we get there,
Mm-hmm.
go with it.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I have had people that, kind of just uh, figure it out in the ring sort of thing.
Mm.
And then I'm like, okay, it like takes me like a second, but then I'm like, oh, well, I can use some bad words now. I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm like, all right, let's go. I
Yeah.
I can roll with this. And those ones are particularly kind of fun because just just figuring out how to you might have your notes for the interviews,
Mm-hmm.
but then you especially those that you're figuring out on the fly where they didn't really tell you before that it's going to be in character. So like, okay, I have my notes, so how am I going to word it to how he's going here? And it gets kind of interesting.
No, it does. I'm not going to go into how I prep for those interviews, but in terms of what I say to the wrestlers is I don't want to be pulling curtains back or anything.
No, no, that's
But
fine.
I do that kind of research where I will look into that wrestler, watch their matches, see what kind of promos they put out there, and just kind of get an overall vibe for
Oh
that
yeah.
person. And then from there, I'll create those questions and
Oh
be
yeah.
ready for it. I'm just ready for anything, you know?
That I try to be that way myself, but sometimes yeah, I'm like there's that military veteran mentality in me that I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta at least have some outline here.
Yeah.
But oh god, I was actually just thinking of some people that I've had on that you know, in front of the camera, they can play one intimidating son of a bitch. But through the interview and them just being themselves, I was like, holy crap, this is a pretty cool dude.
It's like night and day.
Bronson Reed.
Mm-hmm.
I had him on, and like I'll admit, walking up to him and even trying to ask him about coming on because I was at a fan fest before a show, and the podcast was a part of it, and I'm like, oh god, this guy has literally been in the freaking Tokyo Dome, literally been against Okada. Here I am, just like I think I had been in maybe a year at that point. I'm like, holy shit. The nicest dude ever. But I did want to get into kind of what we alluded to at the beginning of the importance of some of those positions in the wrestling business that aren't the active in-ring, putting your body on the line sort of things, like the ring announcers, the commentators, that they definitely are a very important aspect of the show, because like especially the ring announcers, for example, they when you have one that's like showing that excitement, that energy, it's like they're the initial start of getting that crowd just going. And if you have one that kind of, not to insult anybody or throw anybody on the bus, but if you have those that like kind of hit a dud, basically, you can kind of just sense the energy in the room. Just yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they're like you said, they're that spark that starts getting everybody warmed up and ready for what they're about to see. And you have to go in there with the mindset of you have to bring that charisma, you have to bring that charm, and you have to have that intensity as well, because they're about to watch something that is essentially going to blow their mind. So why not get them started on that road?
oh
But
yeah,
if you're going in there with the mindset that your spotlight, it's all about you, then yeah, you're gonna kind of hit a dud because one, you're not engaging the fans, you're not pulling them in, and that's the goal. Is you want them to be involved as much as possible,
mm-hmm.
not just clap and answer the question is how are you feeling. It's more like if you're feeling in like a intense and you're ready to go, make some noise and have them make noise because you're now involving them in the conversation, you're involving them in the show. Things like who's your winner and have them shout out who they're looking forward to. That's again getting them involved.
Exactly, having those like before a match being like,
Yeah.
okay, who do you got here, who you like, just involving the crowd in it, like
Yeah.
you know for as far as like national TV promotions that I've actually seen that at, uh I mean, AEW catches a lot of flack with people taking pictures of different parts of the arena that look empty.
Yeah.
But then, like, I've been to a couple shows and they are very good, in between everything, like getting that crowd involved and just
Right.
getting that hype going, because
Yeah, and that's the part you're not always going to see on television.
yeah,
That's not the part that they want to show, which is fine. But the important
totally.
part of that is that you still keep the crowd going because once it is aired on TV, what do they want to see on TV? They want to see the crowd roaring with excitement, and that's
Oh
part
yeah.
of the job. Is that you're part of that hospitality aspect of the ring announcing is you're contributing to developing that environment of being involved in the action, that the action is
Mm.
also for the fans to consume,
Oh,
but in order for them to do that, they have to feel like they're part of that.
definitely. And much in the same line with the commentators, like, albeit I've seen a couple promotions out there that they actually have their commentators mic'd up to where like the crowd there in person can hear them. More
Mm-hmm.
often than not, if you're there in person, you don't. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like more for those that aren't there, like,
Right.
you're watching on Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they're important, like in my head, and love to hear your opinion on it. It's like, okay, let's say somebody has it on in the background, they're like, okay, I got to get something done around the house. But then all of a sudden they hear like the commentators just going nuts over
Mm-hmm.
something. Then, you draw that crowd in for those moments because you're like, holy shit, okay, this seems important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something that echoes in my mind every time I do commentary work, and this is because of my partner, my colleague. He helped work. He worked with me. His name is Mike Wilkes, out of San Antonio. Is the fact that you have to imagine yourself speaking to a person who's not watching the show; they're just listening to it. So it's those people washing the dishes, doing the laundry, folding clothes. They might not be watching at all. So you have to be able to not only describe what's happening, but you have to put forth that energy and intensity to make them feel like they're there, they're part of it, that they can be excited about it. And all they're doing is listening to it. So a lot goes into commentary than just, reading off sponsors and saying hello, you're storytelling. And there's lots of great storytellers out there. Like I got a chance to witness a couple of great storytellers over at ACW, All Caribbean Wrestling. A lot of the shows that I go to, I try to sit close to the commentary table so I can listen to theirs.
Mm.
But yeah, it's you're telling a story that is being physically told in the ring. For those that aren't able to be there and those who are not able to watch. And because of course you do have folks that can't see it at all. They still want to be
True.
part of the action. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be not only prepared, because again, more research goes into that. You do have to speak to the wrestlers beforehand to make
Yep.
sure that you get the information you need in order for you to share what is needed. Get with the promoter as well, because maybe they have information they want you to share as well.
True.
Um, a lot goes into that. It's not
Oh
just
yeah.
but a lot of the stuff that you don't know, because sometimes there is no information. You just have to go off what you've seen from week to week and tell the story from there as well.
Oh yeah. And I've been lucky enough to make my debut in commentary is, well, it was back in August.
Oh,
I'm getting ready to actually make, the second show,
where?
which here it's in Council Bluffs, Iowa, that the second one's going to be.
Okay.
And although the first one, half of the main event was cheeseburger. Former Ring of Honor had the nod of legend in Jushin Thunder Liger,
Oh.
like teamed up with him and everything.
Mm.
So like I got the chance to call a match for him there, and then get to interview him. He's actually the 300th episode.
Oh wow, that's good.
So that
awesome.
was fun. And much like you said with the commentary, me, like I try to do with the interviews and the my 2 cents stuff that I do, I like to, for people that might just be listening on the audio platforms,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want people to sense that I am having fun.
Yes.
I am having
Yes.
fun,
Absolutely.
doing the interviews, doing the opinion stuff. And then on commentary, I want to bring that same energy to commentary that I would bring if I was just one of the others sitting in the show.
Exactly.
Because that energy that I have in the show, that's what I love seeing on people like commentary. Like some people give Pat McAfee shit, but that's me at the show. Like just me at a show. Like I'm often that fan that, I'll admit it, it's my mission to get somebody to crack. Like,
Oh, really?
I want to get somebody to crack, whether it's wrestler, referee, ring announcer, whoever. And I mean, I've gotten some pretty big name people to crack before, which I'm rather proud of. I've gotten at least one of them to admit it too.
Oh,
That it was Mike Bennett. Love the dude. He was at a show here in Omaha, and it was right around the time that Roderick Strong was really going big with the Adam. So there was a point in the match where the crowd had just died down. You know, those little rest moments where it's like they're excited, but they quieted
just
down
kind of
a
watching,
little bit.
yeah.
So I sensed that moment. I couldn't resist. I just yelled out, Adam! And you could see him just trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Like, and then I talked to him after the show, and he's like, dude, you popped the hell out of me. I'm like, yes.
And those are the most fun moments, but it goes back to what you said, that you're going in as a fan as well. You have a love for it. And I think that's one of the important pieces for a person who does the ring announcing, commentary, and interviewing. You do have to be a fan at heart in order for you to be able to have that kind of energy and desire to contribute to the show like that. You can't just sit there on your phone and scrolling through and taking pictures of yourself. You have to be in the action yourself. You have to be genuinely reacting to something that all fans, you want them to react to, you know?
True.
And the same goes for the way you use your voice.
Oh,
you have to be just as excited as the fans sitting in the audience to see that entrance from the talented athlete that's coming through that curtain. Put that in your voice. Put that in your energy when you're doing the commentating. Put that in your questions for interviews as well, because you can't just stand there stone-faced and stoic. If they're being a badass and they're really being intimidated, then react as you normally would, because you're not going to sit there and stare at the person because you know you're interviewing. You're going to react to that energy that they're giving to you. Do this.
If
I agree with you.
Oh yeah, and not to interrupt, but if like somebody, to go along with what you're saying, if somebody is being that badass, they're being that intimidating figure, that intense figure, go about doing your backstage interview like you would be if that person were just coming up to you at a random spot out in town. You'll be like, oh,
yeah, ride the wave. Ride that wave. Exactly. You're not going to stand there while the wave hits you. You're going to fall over because that wave has consumed you. I agree.
Oh yeah. And you know, it literally goes the same way with, you know, literally any genre of wrestling, and which leads me kind of segueing into wanting to hear about this death match that I heard you mention about in my in my post. That I'm flattered that somebody thought this of me with the amount of deathmatch people I've had on, calling me the indie deathmatch podfather. I'm like, it has a nice ring to it, but thank you. But what was that like for you? Because I know my reactions to some of the first ever death matches that I saw, and it was kind of the, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, this past weekend, we had the honor of being included and having the opportunity to commentate for a promotion that has just started, which is called Death in the Family.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's Funeral ATX, I believe it is.
Okay.
Funeral ATX. But in any case, it was me, Kingpin Kenny, and Ricky Meats. We were doing the commentary for that show, and it's a very intense type of show where a lot of things can happen, because there's a lot of things being thrown in that ring in order for you to take on your opponent. We had a lot of big names and some very, very, let's just say, strong matches because of what transpired. And I encourage everybody to go to IWTV and watch it. It was a fantastic show. With the Baracho Pro Champion was there, Brick Savage, against Sawyer Wreck, and that was amazing. That match was amazing. there were other very amazing matches as well, but mainly it was to see who wins the Devil's Due Cup. That was the
Mm.
tournament that was going on.
Okay,
Um,
I've seen the advertisement for it, so I'm
yes,
very familiar with it. I guess I've forgotten that you were going to be a part of all that. That's awesome.
yeah, and it was just all around fun. It was very intense, lots of blood, of course, because it's a death match. um, and a lot of I understand people get concerned when they're in the fan section, but for where it was done, it was fabulously done, considering the fact that it provided plenty of room and plenty of angles for everyone to see the action, including a very large screen TV that allowed fans who were sitting further back away from the ring to see what was going on, because we had a fantastic camera crew and production crew in Face for Wrestling. Shout out to Bucky and Kate, who did an excellent job capturing those moments, along with Wrestling Tacos, who also did a great job with the clips. And of course, IWTV, because they were
Mm.
part of that production team as well. But it was fantastic. A lot of the matches that you would see, or you will see if you go on IWTV, were just emotionally intense, because a lot of the wrestlers that do undergo that type of match do go into a process to get themselves in that mindset. And it's one of those moments where you have to back away and let them go through their process, because once they're in it, it's what you see. It is exactly what
Mhm.
you see there. Dmitry Alexandrov, who's now
Mhm.
the Devil's Due champion, who won the Devil's Due Cup, is one of those names that you see all around Texas in death matches as well as wrestling matches, who is
Oh
very
yeah.
intense in what they
Nope.
produce in the ring. Stud Stash, another big name in death matches, who's also been to Mexico in the death match circuit. Very intense individual who has a
Mhm.
very big passion for showing fans their emotion, their physical art, basically, because a lot of that, they're putting their bodies through a lot of stress
Mhm.
and turmoil when they take on those matches.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Death matches is a whole different animal.
oh, it is. And again, it like Ricky said, it has its place in
True.
this world of wrestling, because it's just another version of what it is that we normally would see on WWE, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
going a little further, and it
Oh
is
yeah.
it is as valid as anything else that you would see out there in the indie wrestling scene and professional wrestling scene as well.
Oh, most definitely. Like the amount of people I've had on from, Dmitry Alexandrov, had him on, Brick Savage. I When I saw that clip of him looking like Hulk in the Avengers, I had to have him on.
Oh
And
man,
and
very
I've
intense individual.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess when I interviewed a guy that, well, I'm trying to remember, brain a little fuzzy right now, but his episode is actually coming up. The guy that was the recipient of that move,
Oh,
having
there were several. I know there was, I think Chris Carter was one. Um,
Cavens.
Cavens was another. Oh yeah, yeah.
He was the Yeah, had him on me, and I'm like, holy crap. And then, but the thing that often comes up when I have anybody that's even dabbled in death matches is kind of along the lines of what you were saying. It is just like any other form of wrestling. You just got all the death match elements surrounding it. You got, when it's done, words are hard. When it's done great, it has the storytelling, it has
It
the
does.
action, but it's just all surrounded by those deathmatch elements. And it's like wrestling is very subjective.
It
It
is.
has it has death, like any form, any genre of wrestling, has its supporters, has its detractors,
It does. It
but
does.
it has, like a buffet in wrestling, every genre has its place.
Right. Right. And it gives wrestlers an opportunity to explore different aspects of wrestling, because they all have their talents, but now
Hmm?
how much further are you taking what you're doing into the emotional aspect? Because that it's like there's emotional spectrum. There's a lot of aspects of it, and it's a matter of how far are you willing to push it. That's what deathmatch is doing. It's pushing it farther than people are
Mm-hmm.
used to. if it's not for you, where it's too much, yeah, of course, that's valid for not wanting to like it, watch it, or
Yeah,
anything else. But for others, we get to see another side of that wrestler.
definitely. And I mean, yeah, I've had my moments watching shows for like, oh, my friends out at H2O Wrestling, Matt Tremont's promotion in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I They had a series of Monday night shows, and okay, my dog is trying to make a mess up there. Anyways, they were having those shows, and all of a sudden, my wife actually decides to sit down and attempt to watch some wrestling with me. And it happened to be one of those shows, and they had what they called the Deathmatch Discovery Gauntlet.
Hmm.
And this particular night, they had some carpet strips involved, and
Oh.
the look on her face when the carpet strips actually got used, she's like, oh. I'm like, is that necessary? I'm like, kind of. And then I even better. I had one with my mother-in-law. She came out. I was watching it on TV, and all of a sudden she's like, "Isn't that illegal?" I'm like, "You iPad. You got your iPad. Just sit
Mm,
down, watch your iPad. Don't even pay attention to that."
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely not for everybody, but
No,
hey,
but that's okay, and that is definitely okay if it's not for everybody.
oh yeah,
Will it have its supporters? Of course it will. Will it
like
have
me,
those? Exactly. Will it have those who don't support it and have criticism about it? Yeah, it will. Just like
absolutely.
anything. It's it has a place for everyone to enjoy something a little bit different.
Oh yeah,
And this is not
most
just death
definitely,
matches. This is any form of wrestling outside of what we
totally.
would normally see. There's different levels, different aspects, but there's something different for everyone to enjoy.
Oh, most definitely. And now there's a couple matches that, well, we'll go first because I believe this one actually just happened, but it involves somebody we actually just talked about, Dmitry Alexandrov, going up
Mm-hmm.
against Corey O'Neill. I saw the post on your Facebook page. I'm like, ooh, that one just from the event poster alone with the match announcement. I'm like, that another example of a part not necessarily on the in-ring side of it,
Mm-hmm.
but very much another important aspect of the business where like you get those match announcements and you like the picture to the actual post itself,
Mm-hmm.
you can really get the people like, oh damn, that's like okay.
Yeah.
They describe that to where I think I have to be watching that.
Yeah. Like I said, it has a place here in the wrestling world, and it has something for everyone. But Dimitri is one of many out here that does intense matches. I mean, I remember one. It was with Dimitri. I think it was in Wrestle Rave. And excuse me for forgetting who their opponent was, but
It's fine.
it'll come to me later. But
It
I was
happens.
there as a fan. I was there to watch, and good lord, that was one to see. At the end of it, they did a very traditional toast for his opponent, who is from overseas,
Mm.
where they shared a beer in someone's boot, and you can
I
imagine.
can't remember the country, but I know the
You know
tradition
who
you're
I'm
talking
talking?
about.
Yeah. So they're surrounded by a pool of glass and debris from that match. Both of them have glass sticking out from their backs, and they're just very bloodied. And they're sitting in the middle of the ring sharing a boot of beer. I think a fan gave them the boot, a boot
Mm.
of beer, and just it's the most raw moment that you can ever think of.
One of those that, if you don't really know about it, about the tradition itself, you might be
Yeah.
like,
Oh, it's
huh?
gross. Yeah, you would.
But when you take the time to know and look into the tradition, you're like,
Interesting.
okay,
And
okay.
And you think about it, they literally went through a war in that ring, and the remnants of that war is right in front of you, along with the evidence on their bodies.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're taking a moment to respect each other and share what traditionally in the United States, you're sharing a drink with a friend. You're doing
Mhm.
so in a very culturally relevant moment, you know?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And hell, that is the vibe that I want with this show. Like that's what I strive to, and thankfully I've had people actually tell me that's the vibe they get from the show, which love it. But
Yeah, it's very down to earth. You can definitely connect to it. You can see yourself sitting with somebody like that, watching this and having a discussion about it. And
oh
that's kind
yeah.
of that's the feeling I'm trying to give, even as a person when I'm out there, whether I am in the fan section with other fans, if
Mhm.
I'm ring announcing commentary, anything. I'm not unapproachable. I'm not there to be in the spotlight. I'm there to contribute what I have in order to make this something special, whether I'm just speaking about it or I'm there announcing it.
Oh yeah.
Because who are the stars of that show? The people putting their
Mhm.
bodies on the line. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And it goes right back to the thing of that you had mentioned before about not having in that position the like the spotlight being all about you. You're shedding that on everybody, which I mean, if you do a good enough job, it ends up coming right back to you. So you're a part of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
You're a part of that experience. Your goal is to share with fans. This is the show to watch. This is the promotion
Mm-hmm.
to keep your eye on, because when you do a great job, everybody wins. Everybody eats. As a good friend of mine says, you're there to share the wealth with everyone, not just hold it for yourself. In this case, the spotlight. This is for everyone, even the refs. Because can you imagine you're a
Mm-hmm.
ref in a death match? You have to be very careful because you're in harm's way, but you
Yeah.
have to be cognizant enough to know how to position yourself, not only to
Mm-hmm.
to, to call it square, but also to make sure that everybody is okay,
Oh yeah.
as okay as possible, of course.
Yeah, because not everybody, you're not going to walk away unscathed
You're
from one
you're
of those
not.
things.
You're not. And so they have to take their own precautions as well, along with whatever precautions they've been given. The ref's job is a very intense job as well,
Oh,
because
yeah.
not only do they do things like that for death matches and regular shows, because even regular wrestling shows, they are in the middle of that action, and at any
True.
time it does spill over on them. So they have to know what to do.
Oh, yeah. And hell, the perfect example of, I'm not shedding any negative on any refs, but a perfect example of, you know, even the refs can get hurt in these.
They
Like,
can.
I've been, I was lucky enough before he passed to actually get to meet Tim White.
Oh,
He was with Becky Lynch at a World of Wheels show, and I don't think he expected anybody to recognize him. But I looked over, I'm like, looked up my phone, I'm like, holy shit, that's him.
yeah.
I got a picture with him, and it was all over social media when this other one happened because, with Tim White injury in the Hell in the Cell. This
Mm-hmm.
other guy, I'm trying to remember who in particular it was, but like I said, it got all over social media where a ref at a NXT house show had his ankle just snap and was like
Oh,
bent like
geez.
that,
Yeah.
but still counted the 1, 2, 3, and they
Oh,
that was here in Omaha, and I was like fifth row for it, and they wheeled him out right by me.
wow.
So I
Yeah.
literally saw the angle of the. I'm like, how?
But isn't the crazy that kind of commitment that they have for the match that they're officiating, the
Oh,
wrestlers that they are in there with, that he would put that pain aside for a quick second to make sure that he finishes the match. I mean,
oh
that's
yeah,
intense. That's a lot of passion
totally,
for what they do.
most definitely, and intense matches. I do have one that I want to talk about here that this episode will come out after this match has happened, but
Okay.
I've literally had both of these guys on. It's from my notes here, November 17th, Demo Diamond versus Brick Savage.
Oh, yeah.
I've had them both on. I've actually had Demo on twice, like right after he won the MPX title. He like reached back out to me and was like, dude, let's do it again. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it.
That's going to be at the Baracho
United
Cookout. It's happening at the yard, actually. So I would encourage anybody who would be interested. One, if this comes out later, it will be streamed live, at least one or two of the matches. Two, catch the rewatch at united210.com because it will be there definitely. And also catch it with Baracho because that is a joint effort by the two promotions to have this cookout. But yeah, that's going to be a fantastic match for anybody who is a fan of Brick Savage, a fan of Demo Diamond, or both.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of both. I'll admit, I'm, I can, dog distracting me right now, but I can hope that I'm on Brick's good side. I'd like to think that I am because I would think that if I wasn't, he wouldn't have agreed to come on that one time.
I would say you would have to be very mindful of being ready for anything with Brick Savage because Brick Savage does have the opportunity to change their mind at any time, So good side or bad side, just be ready for anything.
No, totally. And Demo's always a good time. I've never had a bad time with him. So I'm going to have to keep my eye out for that one.
Yeah.
And this, before we get into that, I have two categories here. I do want to talk about one thing because it's somebody that, they showed a lot of passion, but they've recently left WWE, and there was a lot of people trying to give her and, well, I'll just go into it, say Samantha Irvin. A lot of passion, like somebody that I would say for the time that she was there, I would like to say probably one of the best ring announcers they had in recent memory. And, recently coming out that she didn't exactly enjoy that particular, but you could have fooled
you would
me
have never
one.
known that, right? Because that's part of being a professional is you were hired to do your job, and that's exactly what she did. She did it not only to the best of her ability, but she found a way to add her flavor to it, which definitely, if we're speaking of her in this way, she made a mark, and that was the point. Has she set a precedent for a lot of people? Yeah, because now you have people that are mimicking what she did, or they're emulating what she did. But the what's the lesson here? She left her mark by being herself and being herself as big as possible. And that's something special that a lot of us can take away from her time there. Whether she liked it or not, she was a true professional. She came in, she did the work, and now she's going on her terms, and that's perfectly fine. There's no need to criticize it. It's just a matter of accept it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I'm one that, especially like I heard when she was leaving, I'm like, well, that stinks, but if she's happy going wherever she's going to go next, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And it's the same for anything you do with regards to this industry or any other. If you have a passion for it and you're happy to do it and you know where you stand and what your role is, go for it.
Absolutely.
Don't let anybody deter you from that. There's a lot of noise going on here, there, and everywhere. Put your earplugs on, listen to your favorite song, get yourself ready, and then go in and do the job to the best of your ability. Make sure that everybody that hires you knows that you're putting your 100% maximum effort to it, and you're not just there just to be there. You're there to contribute to a product that they're very passionate about and enhance it with whatever spices you have, whatever flavors, whatever charisma you have, you're adding to that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I definitely know I add in wishing her well wherever she goes.
Yeah,
Maybe, heck,
absolutely.
maybe those opportunities that she put out there that she was initially wanting,
Yeah.
heck, maybe she gets them from here. If so, awesome.
Yeah.
She knew when she had the, well, I guess it would take a lot of courage to know that, I'm professional and I'm going to be able to, still do the job, but like, signing a contract, if it's coming down to the end of your contract and you realize you're just not, that happiness just isn't there,
Hmm.
being able to have that courage to be like, you know what? I'm going to go find that,
Well, it
whatever it
takes
is.
it takes a lot of courage to realize and be that self-aware to know that you want something else, but you don't want to do it in such a way where you're leaving in bad terms. I don't believe she left in bad terms.
I don't
You can,
believe so either.
yeah, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but
True.
she knew that this was great. There's something else I'm looking for that will fulfill me, hopefully, and I'm going to go find it. And she
Mm-hmm.
was brave enough to let them know, thank you so very much for the opportunity, but I'm going to continue to explore within this wrestling journey for myself to see where else I can go to be fulfilled. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
for the time she was there, I'm pretty sure she was happy, for a
Oh
while.
yeah.
You're not going to be happy forever, and you're definitely
Totally.
going to want to continue to explore the possibilities that are out there.
Oh, most definitely. All right, now I got two categories here. One's a bit of a name game where I name off
Okay.
some people. You give me some quick thoughts on them. And I try to theme it towards the guests as much as possible. And, the Texas area, big area to, go over. So I picked out a few people that have, some are, out there currently doing
Mm-hmm.
big things on the national level. Some Hall of Famers.
Okay.
So
I'll do
first
my best.
one,
I'll do my best.
that's all I can ask. First one, current NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez.
Oh, gee, yes. Um, so I remember Roxanne Perez when she was wrestling here in Texas. My daughter still has one of her pieces of merch in her room hanging on her door.
Nice.
Phenomenal wrestler. She was fantastic when we saw her here in Texas, which was probably 2021, 22, I
Round
think.
there, yeah.
Yeah. And just an explosion of talent. I mean, she has it all.
Oh yeah.
And then to see her just go through Texas the way she did. I mean, she had time in Row as well. She did a phenomenal job there and exploded into the national wrestling scene. So I'm super happy for her. I know individuals who know her well that still have conversations. I personally don't know her, but like I said, I
Yeah.
had the privilege of being able to be a fan in the audience and watch her work in Texas. So her success is phenomenal, and it lets a lot of Texas talent know that if you put in the work, the time, the effort, the energy, the professionalism in there, you're definitely going to go places. And a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of wrestling talent here in Texas are doing that. Um, and they also have to realize that type of explosion of success that she has took a lot of time. You're not going to be where she's at tomorrow. You get there
Mhm.
because you put in the work and the time that it takes in order for you to develop. So
Yeah.
she's a
Every
great lesson for anybody who's in Texas, whether you're wrestler, production, anything. It
oh
that
yeah.
that work takes a lot of time.
Oh definitely. And everybody kind of they get there at different times. Some people
Right.
it
And
takes
they get
longer
there
than
in their own way. I mean, you're not going to
exactly.
follow everybody's path to where they're at in success. Everybody's path is definitely going to be different. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
something that I learn about at the hybrid school of wrestling is everybody has their own path to finishing their particular goals there.
Mhm.
Same in wrestling overall. Everybody will get there in due time, but they're not going to get there walking the same path as someone else. Like for myself,
Mhm.
I'm not going to walk Samantha Zering path, but what she did is a good reminder and example of what the possibilities are, what the example is. I just have to find my own path to get there. Am I
Totally.
going to go through the same people? Absolutely not, because you might not have the same, support in those people that have paved the way for others. You just have to keep
No.
finding your own path and walking it.
Mm-hmm. Next one, somebody that I've had the fortune of getting to meet them at least once that I can remember. Because, good Lord, the amount of people I talk to and meet through this crazy podcast and business we all know and love, my
Yeah.
memory gets fuzzy sometimes.
Yeah.
But the current longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena.
Fantastic wrestler. I'm not really, I got to remember if I've seen her here in Texas. Uh, I don't remember. And it'll probably come to me when I go through all my posters. But fabulous wrestler. You can't deny the talent. Um, I'm not really much to say other than, again, another person who took time to cultivate who they are, what they're about, what their why is,
Mm.
and go for it.
I've actually, not only have I got to meet her, which that was awesome, and I actually got to help play a rib on her opponent that night,
Mm.
because that was the same night of me meeting Bronson Reed,
Mm-hmm.
but it was with Frank the Clown. I got to actually, at the Fan Fest, he hadn't shown up yet, and they were trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to put their carrying around his name thing?
Mm.
And not too far away from where my table was, there was this trash can. So I'm like, here, put it right in front of the trash can.
Wow.
And he just looked like, what the hell? And I just looked,
You just pretended you weren't there.
yeah. So that was fun. But I've actually also got to meet, I want to say her husband, or maybe his boyfriend, Matthew Palmer,
Okay.
over with MPX.
Oh.
I got Matthew Palmer's been very good to me every time MPX has like a big show they're wanting to hype up. I'll end up getting somebody. That's how I actually, trying to remember, Sky De La Camosa,
Mm.
and that's how I got him. And well, it wasn't officially how I got Demo Diamond the first time, but it happened to
Okay.
be that very same show that I ended up just being like, you know what? Hell, we'll just run with it. We'll just go. We'll just hype up that show along with it.
Yeah.
And it was a fun time. All right. Next up here, a guy that he's kind of hard not to like. Just
Okay.
that smile of his. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Oh, yeah. I met them once at a wrestling show as well. Well, I didn't meet them. They were there. And I just got a chance to watch their interaction with fans, which was, I love watching wrestlers and how they interact with their fans. And
Mhm.
and he has such a gentleness with his fans who really appreciate who he is as a person, and just respect him as well. So that was, it was great to watch the people just love him. You know what I mean? Um, I recently had a chance to help out at a show that he's a part of, All Caribbean Wrestling, which
Mm.
did a phenomenal job at their. The show was called. Let me see if I remember. Um, I gotta look it up because it's been a while, and I've been at a few shows now, and unfortunately, like you said, they start to
Stuff blends together after a
blend
while.
together sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, it was a phenomenal show. A lot of the fans, a lot of them, all of them that were there, they were so into what was happening. And oh my goodness, the love that they showed for everyone that was wrestling that night, for the VIPs that were there, it was amazing. It was amazing. The show was called, let me see, and you can find them at All Caribbean Wrestling on Instagram as
Mm.
well. But it was called Fight for Paradise, and it was,
Oh, okay.
again, amazing. And if you have the opportunity to find where their re-recording is, check out All Caribbean Wrestling on the socials to keep up to date with them as well.
Hmm.
But like I said, I didn't meet them personally, Mark Henry, but I did get a chance to kind of watch their interaction, which is really my favorite part of watching uh, TV personalities is to see how do they interact with their fans, you
Yeah,
know. Um, like it was a very endearing moment for me. I got a chance and I respectfully did ask, can I please take a picture of, you know, him and his fans? And I got the sweetest picture of Mark Henry.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've gotten that impression of him. So hearing those with those experiences, getting to see that in
Yeah.
person, awesome. Like I've I've been able to see videos of people like, I know he's the heel right now, but Kevin Owens,
Oh.
I got to see videos of him with his fans. Like there was somebody that had a sign about beating cancer, and he
Mm-hmm.
like literally went up into the crowd over the barricade to them. And seeing that, he's been a favorite of mine. Well, I do have a little story of actually kind of meeting him, but my I was actually at Disney World, and on my way out, I don't know if I dropped something, had to tie my shoe, whatever it was. So as I'm getting up, all of a sudden, passing by me, I see that T-Rex skull tattoo on his shoulder. And I like slowly look, I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, he was with his family. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I saw him. I want really badly to say something, but I don't want to screw up his family time.
Right, right.
So I know I saw him, but I will admit I probably fanboyed out a little bit when I got done and ran to catch up with my wife and being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
But that's okay, right? Because you had your moment and you also was respectful enough to let them have their time because
Yeah.
isn't that something that's important to everybody is
Oh
when
yeah.
you know
Family is an important thing.
yeah, and you don't want to jump in and say, can I have your autograph? No, let them have their time, you know, let them have a
Yeah.
moment. Don't just jump in there and can I have a picture? Give them a minute, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
people too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if it were anywhere other than like a fairly crowded spot at the time, I might have been like, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm a huge fan. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and it's just you saying a couple of things and just, you know, you're awesome and then yeah.
Yeah,
But when they're on in front of a con at a con or something, yeah, now they're ready for receiving
exactly,
pictures and autographs and things or what
exactly.
have you. But yeah, it's a level of respect as a fan that we know we should have because we know
But
that
some people don't.
I know and it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens. But you know, speaking of con, you know, conventions, I I don't get starstruck too easily, but this last guy on this category, he's my all-time favorite, and I swear if I ever got to meet him, I don't know if I'd be able to get a word out.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah, I know. I have the same feeling. Uh, my favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers. Um, I don't know if I'd be able to have any words. I know I met one of my favorite stars on TV, and the only thing I could mutter was, I just want to hear you speak. And that's what I told them. Yeah. And they thought I was the oddest person ever, but I know they get those questions. Can I have your autograph? Can I take your picture? I just wanted to hear them speak because they're that's wow, you know, that's where I was at the moment.
Oh
But for
yeah.
Stone Cold, yeah, I just have a conversation just to listen to them. I mean, yeah, I'll get the autographs, I'll buy the pictures, and I'll take a picture, you know, and be like, wow, I'm standing next to them. But just being able to just have my brain wrap itself around the fact that you are there in person listening to them
Oh yeah.
might sound silly to some, but
Oh yeah.
I think
When
it's
you
amazing, you know?
Oh yeah. When you have somebody built up in your head like that for so long, there's gonna be that moment, that maybe a minute or two initially where you're just like, holy
Yeah,
shit, that's actually them.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That once I got over that, hey, but I could, oh God, I've actually had some people joke with me about this, that like it might take me a minute, but then all of a sudden he'd do something like, use your words, kid. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good now.
yeah. I got a lot of jokes from my friend. I mean, she's, well-meaning and everything, but she got a kick out of watching me just stand there going, I just want to hear you speak. But it'd be the same with Stone Cold. It's just like, wow. And knowing that Stone Cold is a from Texas, you're just like, wow, yeah, I'm in the same state as this person I've watched on TV when I was younger. That's cool.
Oh yeah. I've only had the opportunity to get to see him once, and that was, I mean, yeah, it would have been cool to see him in person more,
Mm-hmm.
but my first ever Monday Night Raw taping back when it was taped, then maybe this might be dating me a little bit, but he was
I
feuding with
remember those 818 900 numbers where you call
the,
in.
oh
Yeah.
God, yeah. But he was chasing around Bret Hart in the building with the axe handle.
Oh.
And I was like, oh God. And then that was actually the same night that Owen Hart beat Rocky Maivia for the Intercontinental
Mm.
title.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was, oh, man. I remember actually finding the date that that show was, and I went and rewatched it on the network.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
You're
I
going
did
down
it.
memory lane at that point. You remember exactly what you were doing every moment of that show.
Yeah, it was wild. All right. Now I have some random questions.
Okay.
Some wrestling related, some might not be,
Okay.
but that's why they're random. All right. First one. Craziest in-match moment that you were there to either witness as you were part of, ring announcer, commentator, or just as a fan. You were there in person and you're just holy shit moment when it happened.
Um, Probably recently when I watched, and again, you have to go watch this because it was amazing to watch. Uh, Sawyer Wreck shoved a pizza down Rick Savage's mouth. I mean, the brutality of it. I mean, that's over. Yeah, I've never seen that before. I can say that's the craziest moment. Most interesting match that I've been at. I actually got to ring announce this one. A D&D wrestling match.
Hmm.
That was pretty interesting. With a complete with dice and dungeon master.
Huh.
Yeah, that was at Uncanny Attractions. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Everybody who was there for that enjoyed that. Again, IWTV, you can watch that one too.
I might have to go check that one out because, like, okay, I myself might not know a whole lot about D&D. I do have some friends that are heavy into it, and I love hearing them talk about it.
Yes.
So to get to see those two worlds merge like that
Right.
would be
Right.
pretty interesting.
Yes, and I'm in the same boat as you. Not a very big D&D player. I have friends and family that definitely have decks of cards. I mean, libraries of cards. But then when you watch them merge together with wrestling, you're like, you know what? That is pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the dungeon master involved in that was Sky de la Quimosa.
No kidding.
Yep. And well, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to watch it.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to watch it. You have to watch it. Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go pay attention to that one.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you don't really. I guess a lot of people don't really think of those two worlds merging like that, but
No, and this promotion did, and they did it. I
they
mean, the fans were locked in the whole time. Yeah.
nice, nice, and okay, one of the non-wrestling related ones here.
Okay.
Well, it looks like I actually got well, most of them for the rest of this category are. As of this recording, we are the day before Halloween.
Right.
Everybody growing up had like favorite Halloween candy.
Mm-hmm.
They especially loved it if they lucked out and got one of those houses that gave you the full size one.
Oh yeah.
What would you say favorite Halloween candy, or just candy because you get
Anything with coconut in it.
Ooh, you don't
Anything.
hear that often.
Yes, I love coconut. So almond joys are my favorite because they have almond, which I love, and coconut, which I really love. So
Okay,
anything with coconut in it, yeah.
all right.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said, I don't normally hear you don't hear people talk about loving the coconut ones too
Yeah.
much. But
Well,
hey,
I'm from my family leaning my family heritage. I'm from the Dominican Republic, right?
okay,
I wasn't born there. I was born here in the States, but
yeah,
my family is from the Dominican Republic. So
okay,
we have a lot of opportunities to work with coconut
ah,
because a lot of the candy that my grandmom used to make
mm,
had coconut in it, or it
gotcha,
was sweet
gotcha.
milk. Yeah. So yeah, I love anything with coconut in it.
Okay, I
Mhm.
I can I can dig that. I know I through the Navy actually served with a handful of people from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and
Mhm.
all over the that part, and they're always fun people to be around. I
Yeah,
I, I always
we're just happy people. Whether you catch us being from the states, whether we're born here or we're born over there, we're just happy people.
oh yeah,
We just want to have fun. When whatever we're doing, we parties are always a great time because we love getting together with family and friends that are close to the family.
yeah,
Dinners are a big deal as well, especially like in Puerto Rico as well. Eating dinner with someone, it's important because you're sharing a little bit of yourself with other people,
oh
and
yeah,
basically not only in what you're sharing, because a lot of the food is culturally tied to that
yeah.
country, but in the fact that you're sitting down sharing a little bit of yourself with those people in what you have cooked.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely giving them a little piece of you. Because Lord knows my wife handles most of our cooking. My menu has expanded a little bit since meeting her.
Yeah.
Like before, it was like, and I joke about it, but I'm serious that the only thing that really turned out good was different varieties of hamburger helper.
Oh, really?
Otherwise, everything turned out the same in the end. It just not good.
Well, I know for me, mac and cheese was something I learned about after I got married. Yeah, because that wasn't a staple in my household when I was
Mm,
growing up at all. We just macaroni was either in tomato sauce or
mm,
not. It wasn't.
gotcha.
We never thought of it being with cheese, which sounds stupid because you know in that country there will be some version of mac and cheese. Just for my family, mac and cheese was not a staple.
Gotcha. All right. You know what? Going on the food train here, we are also, I believe, yeah, this will air after, but we are also approaching Thanksgiving,
Right.
one of the huge eating days of
Oh
the
yeah.
year. Lord
Mm-hmm.
knows I joke about people needing a forklift to get me out of the house when I'm done. But favorite, you know what? We'll do both here.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving food.
Okay. Favorite Thanksgiving food. I do eat turkey, but not a big turkey fan.
Okay.
What I do like about Thanksgiving is lechon. That's like the roasted pork, the very heavily
Mm,
flavored roasted pork. Favorite. And then you partner that with arroz con gandules, which is in some countries rice and peas, which is really pigeon
okay.
peas. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You got those two combinations with everything else that you have on the table, empanadas, maduros, fritos, things like that. Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Like, okay. I've joked about it that, I haven't had the, rice and peas dish, but it's it goes along with something that I've joked about being one of my least favorite foods in general, but just straight peas. Like I
Really?
if it's mixed into something like the rice and peas, or
Yeah.
like a casserole or something where it's like it's mixed in with stuff, it's like okay,
Well,
whatever.
pigeon peas are a little different than peas because they have a little bit of a different flavor, and you have to season it as well.
Okay.
I love sweet peas. Sweet peas are great, especially in a salad or in fettuccine alfredo with chicken.
Oh
Great
yes.
consistency that you'll get out of there. By
Okay.
itself, I'm fine with it too. It's not a big deal. Um, I don't know if I have a least favorite dish in Thanksgiving. I could probably say I try everything, but it might be stuff that I can't identify. If I don't know what it is, I
Mm,
can't figure it out, I might not really go for it. You know what I mean?
I can definitely agree with you there, because I'm not exactly a picky eater,
Yeah.
but especially if I can't tell what it is,
Then I'm like,
I'll
yeah,
go over
pass.
here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to the pumpkin pie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and me with pumpkin pie, I'm that type of person that's like, oh, you want a little bit of whipped cream on that? I'm like,
yeah.
just drown it.
Just by its, I don't do the whipped cream on thing.
Mm,
I'm not a, I don't hate whipped cream. It's just I like the object without the extra added sugar because it
I
already
can
has it in there.
I can respect that. I can
Mhm.
respect that. But yeah, favorite for me, and having my mom and the younger of my two sisters actually have to be gluten free
Mhm.
for the first little bit. Whenever they first didn't have stuffing there, I was like, I don't want to be here now. That was
Wow.
like, stuffing is like my favorite Thanksgiving side dish. Where I was like, when I noticed it wasn't there, I'm like,
Oh wow.
ah,
That's heavy. I actually never grew up with stuffing. I only got to try it as an adult.
yeah,
Yeah, and I love it when it's well seasoned. I have a friend who
yeah.
she adds the um the liver, the heart, like she chops it up into tiny pieces, all the pieces that you normally might not eat. She adds it in there, seasons it, puts gravy on. Oh my goodness.
Mm. Oh yeah,
Oh,
gravy. Oh yeah.
yeah, and then you have a little bit of mashed potatoes with that.
Mm. I'm
It's
getting
over.
hungry just
Yeah,
talking
I know.
about
It's
it.
so good.
Oh yeah. All right. Next up, kind of going along with it, because I feel like with the name of a show like I have to ask the question: favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise?
Okay. Favorite drink. Um, I drink Dr. Pepper. I do drink Dr.
Oh,
Pepper.
I
Pepper.
am a Dr. Pepper fiend.
And I that again, that didn't start till I was an adult too. My favorite Dr. Peppers have been so far the strawberry and the coconut. I love the coconut one.
I the coconut one I did actually enjoy, but it was weird because I tried it first in like one of the 20-ounce bottles.
Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't taste it.
It's hard. You have to really be looking for it to smell it.
Yeah,
You're not gonna taste it, but you're gonna smell it.
but then I tried it in a can, and all of a sudden I got the whole. Yeah, I could smell it a bit,
Yeah.
and I could taste it. Like once it was in the can, it's like, okay, I get the whole thing.
Any Dr. Pepper in a can is always better. I
Oh,
don't know why that is. They seem to be colder, they seem to be crispier in
mhm.
terms of the snap you get.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Pepper in a can is always the best Dr. Pepper.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
As far as drinks, like alcoholic, I'm not sure. I try anything that is out there that is I'm willing to try. I'm not too into anything that burns
Mm,
because then I'm
I'm,
just not really too. I don't know. I'm not too interested in it. I love sweet wines. Those are great to drink as well, and wines that go good with cheeses.
mm,
Those are usually bitter. I think that's what direction they go. But yeah, even the ones that are good with cheeses, I love.
mm,
Um, but I don't have a particular favorite. I just know I there are things out there that I've tried that I really enjoyed, even shots
yeah.
of things that I've enjoyed that weren't
Oh,
just biting you at the end of it.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I tend to steer away from the hard liquors that burn,
Yeah.
which I mean, there's the people that like that, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
and that's fine. They're not
But
my favorite.
yeah, like I hard liquors, I've been more of a whiskey tequila guy, and I
Hmm.
do like those smooth ones. Like there's a couple tequilas that I like that I swear when you put those in a margarita, you need to be careful because you will
Yeah.
not be able to tell there's any damn alcohol in it.
Soju's one of those. That's a hard one. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
you can't tell where you're at once you've had even a shot of that stuff. Yeah. And you could mix it all you want to.
Oh
I
yeah.
think once you get up, you know you're done because you could feel it trickle down the rest of your body.
Oh god, yeah. Those
Yeah.
ones are the
Yeah.
the
I've had Johnny
worst.
Walker, Black Label.
Mm.
Yeah, but just a shot of those. That's
Oh
my
yeah.
dad's favorite. But yeah, I try. I just try
Mm,
things, and if
yeah.
they crack the whip in my mouth too hard, then I'm just like,
It- yeah. No, if
pass.
I'm with you there.
Hmm.
Although going with Dr. Pepper, I stumbled on this one time when I was going through the fridge, and all of a sudden there was one of those little shooter bottles of Jack Honey,
Hmm.
and I had a Dr. Pepper in my hand, and I'm like,
Oh,
it was good.
was it? Here's what I love that I will always put my hands on whenever I see it. Um, I know that they'd make it in the Dominican Republic. There's two of them. One of them is called Frambuesa, which is a strawberry soda. Oh my God,
Mm,
I love it. I don't know what is in that formula. Fanta makes a great strawberry soda
that
too,
they do.
but this one, not the
That.
same. Not the same as the Fanta one. And another one called the flavor is called merengue or meringue. Um, I love it. It tastes kind of like cream soda.
I
Yeah,
do enjoy cream soda.
yeah.
So yeah, I dang would hope I'd be able to find something like that, but
Go to
pro-
a Caribbean store, Puerto Rican, a store that sells Puerto Rican products, or a store that sells Dominican, Caribbean.
I'll
Yeah, you'll find it.
okay. I'll have
Yeah,
to definitely look out for that.
yeah.
All
The
right,
soda I'm
now
talking about is on a white label, so if you ever see it, yeah.
okay, okay, all right. Now you've probably heard me talk about my dog making a noise upstairs. Next question: dog or a cat person?
Dog. I'm
Same.
allergic to cats. I
It,
love cats. Just I
I'm like I definitely call myself a dog person, but I'm one of those that's like I don't hate cats.
yeah, I don't either. I like them. I think they're cute. It's just I can't hang around them for too long.
Yeah, my wife got another one after we had been together that he loves the shit out of me for some
Oh
reason.
yeah.
Like she's literally got pictures of him using my beard as a pillow.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just looking at him like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love him the bits, but more of a dog person. My wife and I actually have a full grown English bulldog.
Oh, nice.
And he's my type of dog.
Is he?
Literally, you you feed him, give him water, let him outside to do his business, and he's happy as hell napping on the couch all day.
Oh,
I love it.
yeah.
He gets a zoomy, playful moments, which I'm all about, sharing in that with him. But
Mm-hmm.
literally feed him water, let him outside to potty, and then he'll be happy as hell just napping on the couch.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love it. All right. Last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into the wrestling business.
I've been asked this a couple of times actually. Best advice would be realize that there are people out there that will help you, but you do have to have um you have to have manners, you have to have respect
Yeah.
for the people that you're working with. Um, go to wrestling schools and learn from them. Not all wrestling schools work on the ring announcing and the commentary, but they're willing to. I mean, they will definitely put time into you if they know that um, you're you're willing to put the work in for it. Um, but yeah, just like I said earlier, there's a lot of noise out there. You're just gonna have to plug your ears and keep moving forward and only listen to the good advice that will actually help you. Because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people saying a lot of things, You're gonna have people that are not really there to support you as much as they're just there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a lot of criticisms as well. But you got to know that your path is not the same as everybody else's path. You're going to make it some way, shape, or form. You just have to keep at it, you know.
True.
I've been asked by a couple of people what I would tell them with regards to how to do what I'm doing. Practice. I mean,
Mhm.
there's no shortcut to it. There's no pill for it. There's no secret drink to it. Just practice. It's just that's in anything that you do, whether you're a musician or a quilter, whatever. You have to put in work and practice. You watch the wrestlers all the time putting in the work, going to the gym and things like that. We
Mhm.
have to do the same thing, whether it's
Totally.
listening to other people, calling our own matches while we're at home. You got to practice. There's no way around that.
Oh yeah. It's one of those businesses where literally it's an ever evolving process. You're always
Yeah,
learning. You're always picking up new things
right,
from this person, that person, this
right. And you
show, that
have to
show.
be open to learn. That's the other
Mm-hmm.
thing. Just because you finish with the wrestling school doesn't mean that the journey ends with regard to your learning. You have to realize that you're constantly on a process where you're picking up new information. You're
Mm-hmm.
always going to be learning. There's
Oh yeah.
always, and this is something that I hear a lot at my house, there will always be somebody out there better than you. Always.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sit there and think that you're the best because uh, someone with notoriety says you're the best. There will always be somebody out there that is much better than you. And will you be that person that will step back and say, what can I learn from this person? Even somebody who does a terrible job, you can still learn from them as well. It's just a matter of what from that can I gather? What can I pull from
Mm-hmm.
that I can make better? You know?
Oh yeah.
So you can't go into this business or any other thinking that once you're finished the learning that is done. That's the
Yep.
wrong way to go about it. And that is a recipe for disaster for anybody because you won't evolve. You will stay
Oh yeah.
stagnant, and that's that.
Oh yeah. And hell, it goes into not evolving. Hell, there's people like, yeah, people give him shit right now, but Jericho, Undertaker, that they had those, the core elements still the same, but they had those elements that were apart that, just evolved, and, they were always learning.
Yeah.
There's everybody out there always learning, always taking little bits from everywhere they go. And,
Yeah.
hell, there might be something that somebody learns in a match that they end up taking from
Exactly.
that match and then
Exactly.
just taking it on and molding it into their own thing.
Right. Right. And that's the name of the game is how much are you willing to say to yourself there's more to learn and actually do that, you know?
Oh
don't
yeah.
don't just say it because I've heard a bunch of people say, oh, I still got a lot to learn and then not do that.
Yeah.
Actually just do it, because that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the process is continuing that process to learn, which again goes back to practice.
Yep.
Once you get that information, what are you going to do with it? You can't just say, oh, I'm going to incorporate that into what I do. No, actually do it.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. It's one thing to say you're going to do it. It's another thing to actually jump out there and do it.
And that's the same goes for your personality, for your ability to be professional. Don't just say that you're professional. Anybody can
Mm-hmm.
say it.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah, actually
Mm-hmm.
do it. It's in what comes out of your mouth. It's in how you work with people. It's in
Mm-hmm.
how you address them when nobody's watching.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be professional.
Oh, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you and where you're going, they can go ahead and get them there.
Okay. Definitely you can go to the Instagram, X, or even YouTube. I'm there as well. Facebook at Dr. The Wife. Very easy name to find because I'm the only one out there with that name. And for those that, because I know I've only had one person figure it out where that name comes from. For those who are curious where I got that name, just ask. I mean, but like I said, only one person's figured it out and actually seen the connection there. But November 2nd, I will be at Phoenix Lucha Libre, where they're going to have a great show for Dia de los Muertos. And a lot of folks from Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, CMLL, will be there. So I'm excited because this is, oh my goodness.
CML
Yeah.
is a pretty big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's happening in Houston. November 9th, also Promotion Wrestling will also have a show in San Antonio. November 15th, United 210 has Made in America 2, which is going to be an event to remember. And you can find them at united210.com, which I will be there as well. Hybrid School of Wrestling will have their show, Thanks Beatings, on November 16th. And you've mentioned earlier, November 17th, Baracho and United are teaming up, and they're having the cookout over at the Yard on the 17th. So that's going to be a great time. But other than that, Face for Wrestling, I don't know, you can see right there. I'm with them as well. We do lots of things here in Texas, including do our own little podcast where we talk about wrestling for those who are interested. We talk about Stardom, and we had a chance to go watch the inaugural Marigold show over in Japan. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice. I've yet to actually get to step foot in Japan. I was on deployment where we anchored off, and some people got to go. I just wasn't one of them.
Oh, we had a great time. We've been there twice already, and both times got to watch excellent wrestling shows and just experience Japan as it is, the culture, the food, the people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and this last time we went, we got to watch some excellent shows for Stardom and Marigold, and
nice.
we just traveled Japan, just enjoying,
awesome.
enjoying life basically.
Oh, that is so awesome. Love to hear about it. All right, well, dog got to go make sure he's not making a mess up there. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me tonight.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I really enjoyed this interview. Hopefully we can do it again.
Oh, definitely. You're welcome back anytime at all. I'm happy that you had a good time, because I can be my own worst critic. So when I hear other people saying it before I ask, always means the world to me.
Oh, definitely. We need a toast to excellent experience. I don't have anything to drink.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm like, damn it, the one thing I forgot. Shit. All right. Well,
maybe next time.
Next time. Yes. Yeah. You're welcome back anytime. But that is it. Thank you again. Have a good one.
You too.
Here. Fucking butt.